Welcome back, mamas. Y'all, I am so excited for you today because we are going to talk about asking for help. We're actually going to talk about the root cause of why that may be like so cringy to you. You may think asking for help, I am not asking for help. That means weakness, right? That means I am not strong enough. We're going to get into why you may be feeling that way and why you are so resistant to ask for the help. I'm going to get to the bottom of it today, and I can't wait for you to have this aha moment that I had many years ago, and I'm going to share with you today. So let's get to it. Do you wish you had control of your days, that you had a rhythm, but instead feel overwhelmed, scattered, and like there's never enough time? You're in the right place. I'm Danielle, a recovering workaholic, wife, and stay-at-home mom of 2 girls. I've learned how to reclaim my time and find purpose and freedom so I can be present with my kids and feel like myself again. Here, we embrace where we are, but we don't stay there. So if you're ready to trade the chaos for clarity, the guilt for grace, and the endless to-do list for aligned flow, grab the kiddos a snack and toss in that laundry because I know you're multitasking, and let's do this because your time, your purpose, and you matter. Okay, mamas. So I want to speak to you today about connection, about asking for help, about what we may or may not believe about being alone, feeling alone, not being connected to others, and maybe seeing asking for help as a sign of weakness. So I know this is going to be like a two-parter. And today I really want to break down this whole feeling that you may really be feeling that you are alone, that you don't have any support, that you just feel alone because you aren't alone, right? Like you may have a husband, you may have family around you that supports you. You may have friends. You may have, like I know I did not have business associates, but I had people who I volunteered with, people who were members of the same organizations that I was a member of, that I was around. I had my girlfriends. I had all of these people in place in my life to where I should not have felt alone. However, I felt so alone. And this might be the place where you find yourself. And so I really want to talk about why. I want to talk about why we may feel this feeling of aloneness when we're not alone. And I want to talk about why it is that we are feeling like asking for help is a sign of weakness versus it's a strength, right? Because strength comes from community, right? It's always been said that 2 are better than 1, right? Like when 2 are together, they're better than 1. A cord of 3 strands cannot be broken. Things like this are said. However, we as moms, I know that I felt this way a lot, but we sometimes feel that if we ask for help, we are weak because we should be doing all of these things. There's so many shoulds when we are momming, right? That we have put on ourselves a lot of times. So this is a mindset thing, right? This is something where we need to change our mindset around what it means to be a good mom, because you may think that doing everything yourself means that you're being a good mom, but you may be dying for that support. You may be yearning for that support. You may be really wanting and feeling the need for validation and support, but you aren't willing to ask for it. And so what is happening is you're now feeling this alone feeling, right? You are feeling alone, not because you are alone, but because you feel unseen, because you aren't getting vulnerable enough to ask for the help or even to just speak about what it is that you're going through, because there is somebody else going through exactly what you're going through. And if you speak it, they're either going through it now or they've been through it or they will go through it. If they're a mother, I bet you that they are going to or have been or are currently feeling this way. And so you will most likely get either advice, get a friend, or get support, right? If you, and you may get all three, right? If you are willing to be vulnerable and put yourself out there. I know when I felt this way, I was trying to do too much. I was taking on all of the things, right? Like I knew I wanted more for myself. And so I had made the decision that I was going to do something more for myself. And in that decision, with that decision came things that I had to sacrifice other things, right? So if I were momming all day long, but I needed to work on something for myself, I needed to make the decision to do that. And I had to get help in order to do that, right? Or if you can't do all of maybe the household chores that you once could or would when you are deciding to get something in your life for yourself, or maybe you're just sitting there feeling so alone because you want more for yourself, but you haven't taken any steps towards that. And you're sitting there with this want of more, but you haven't taken any steps to do anything to get that more to come to fruition, right? And so you're sitting there wanting this, feeling so alone, not because you are alone, but again, I'm going to read this, not really a quote, but something I saw on Instagram, and I saved it, and it says, there's a kind of loneliness that doesn't come from being alone, but from being unseen. It is like an emotional disconnect where the deepest parts of yourself are felt unnoticed, misunderstood, or unvalued. It is not an absence of people, but the absence of the connection, the gap between your internal world and how it is perceived. So your internal world may look different than how it's perceived by others, right? Because we may be putting on this face that everything is okay. We may be putting on this face that we are good, that we chose this stay-at-home mom life, that we know that we are good in it, right? Like we are not wanting necessarily to go back to work, although maybe you do, I don't know, but you want more for yourself in one way, shape, or form. For me, I knew I wanted to stay home, but I also knew that I needed something for me. I knew that I was losing my identity, and I knew that I was starting to see things that I was doing in my parenting that I was not happy with, that I was not a fan of, that I did not want to see happen. And I felt like it was because I was losing a part of me. I had lost a part of me. And I knew at that point in time that I had to do something. But to the outside world, it may have looked like I still had it all together, right? And that, Danielle just is now doing all of these things, right? Because I started to do all of these things, but they weren't filling my cup. They weren't what I needed. I hadn't done the work. And so it was just making me feel more and more alone. And I was not asking for help. At the beginning, I did not ask for help. I did not think that I should ask for help because I thought chose to stay at home. So I should have the capacity. If I want more for me, I should have the capacity to be able to do all of the things I was doing, plus this whatever else, like for me, it was like starting a business, right? And actually I had started to do all of these different things that I thought would make myself happy because I knew I needed a part of me back. And then I threw starting a business in there on top of it after I had already started grasping at straws to do all of these other things. And it was a recipe for disaster, right? If you've heard my story, it wound me up in the hospital, right? And so we can not let our internal world be seen because we are worried that others might judge us for that, or they might think that we're weak for needing help, or they might think that we're crazy for feeling this way when this is what we wanted, right? We wanted this, we chose to stay at home, and now we're having this conflict in our brains, in ourselves, in our being, because we want more, right? That's what was going on with me. And so it led me to feeling more and more and more alone because I was trying to do all of the things. I was trying to take it all on, and no one was seeing me for me. So it was creating this emotional disconnect. But you guys, it was my fault. It was because I was not being transparent with anyone about all of these things I was feeling. I was being transparent in that I wanted to take on more, right? That's the only thing that I was being transparent about, but I wasn't being transparent about the why. And I wasn't being transparent about all the things that I was feeling. And I wasn't being transparent about the fact that I could not do it all. And I was really realizing that, right? I just kept feeling like not enough. I kept feeling like, oh gosh, I'm just not enough. Like I should be able to do all of these things. So I must be the problem. I must not be enough, right? And so I just want to tell you, number one, that you are not alone. But I promise you that not only are you not alone, but that other people want to help you. When you tell other people what is going on, when you decide that you are going to bring someone else into your circle, when you decide to tell, if you tell your spouse what is going on, if you tell your parents what is going on, or people, your sister or whomever that could help you in some way, shape, or form with childcare duties, with, just anything that anyone else could help you with, when you bring those people into the mix and tell them what's going on with you and why you are asking for their help, they are most likely going to want to support you. They will want to support you. And, you might get some judgment around it, and you'll have to be ready for that. And we'll talk about, boundaries in another episode. You can go back and listen to an episode, but I know I'm going to do another episode here soon on boundaries. But I just want to tell you that there are people that want to support you unconditionally. And for those that have conditions, the more you bring them into the loop of what you're feeling, the more empathy and the more compassion and the more help that you're going to get. We're going to get into the what you can do and the how to ask for help and the how to get over it and all of this in Thursday's episode. But today, I really wanted to take the time to let you know that if you're feeling alone, even when you're surrounded by others, and even when you have people in your corner that could support you, this may be the reason. And yes, we are going to talk about needing to ask for help and how to do that. But you coming to terms with the fact that this may be something that you have to get over. You have to get over looking at this as a weakness, that you do need help, right? It is not a weakness that you need help, right? Recognizing that you need a help is a strength, and allowing others to help you, actually, it makes you so much stronger. It is counterintuitive, possibly, but it really does make you stronger, and it makes your connection stronger. It makes so many things better. And so please listen in on Thursday, but just know, number one, you're not alone. Number two, I really want you to think about what is the reason that you're feeling this way, and is there some vulnerability or something, some work that you need to do on yourself to really help you to get to a place where you can ask for help. And then three, listen on Thursday so that you can get the ways to ask for help. And, there are ways to go about it, and then there's ways to not go about it. Maybe this might even lead me into doing a boundaries episode next week, depending on how this goes. But you guys, I really want you to know that you can do this and you are not alone. Those are my biggest takeaways, is that you can get through this and you can ask for the help. And I promise you, as hard as it seems, because it seemed to me like no way, like I did not want to ask for the help. And I'm going to give you ways that you can do that on Thursday. And so I want to end with a quote from Atticus, and it says, "You are enough, 1,000 times enough. And every time you doubt it, remember that you are not alone." You are not alone in feeling not enough. Know that almost all of us feel like we are not enough at one time or another. And you are feeling this aloneness a lot of times because you feel like you're not enough, because you are believing that you don't deserve the help. You believe that you aren't deserving of the help. You should be doing it all. It's these shoulds, right? Again, I keep mentioning that word should. It's the way that perception that you may have that isn't actually reality. Just like we talked about the perception that you're maybe giving others isn't your reality. Well, the perception that everyone else does not want to help you, or that means if they do, that means you're not enough on your own, that this is some kind of a weakness, that is not true either. So know that you are not alone in feeling not enough, but know that you are enough. You are enough, and that you deserve this help, and that you deserve to have all of the things that your heart desires. And that's what God would want for you. And that's what I want for you. And I know that's what you want for you. And so I cannot wait for Thursday's episode when we dive deeper into this and really asking for the help and how to do that and what it looks like and all of the things. Know also that I am still offering my Prioritize Your Purpose coaching, this one-on-one coaching where I will walk you through not just this feeling alone and asking for help, but we're really going to get to the root of what is causing all of this, where your priorities are, how you figure out what that more is for you, and how to get that in your life, because you have to take the time to figure out what the most important things in your life are to you right now so that you can ask for the help for the right things, right? You don't want to just be asking for help and then be focusing on the wrong things. We want to make sure that what you're asking for help for or with is actually going to produce the result that you want it to, that's actually going to be in alignment with who you are today and not just trying to fill a void that might be there. So I would love to help you do this work. So go to prioritizewithpurpose.com/coaching, or just check it out, prioritizewithpurpose.com. You'll find the page for it. Check out the coaching, sign up for a call or multiple calls if you can swing that. But I would love to help you walk through this. So until Thursday, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, Mama. If so, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and then hit share and send this to a mom who needs this in her day. I'll meet you right here on Thursday. Keep smiling, y'all.